Are you making the same mistakes when you're showing property that I used to make and I see many realtors make on a regular basis? Are you crushing it every time you show property? Well, don't worry, because in this video, I'm going to give you 3 great tips to be the best showing agent you possibly can, whether you're showing one of your own listings or taking buyers on a property tour. I'm going to give you 3 great tips that you can make you crush it, all right? Hey everybody, it's Tahoe Tony, and if you like these videos, go ahead and subscribe below. Click on the notifications bell so you'll be the first one notified when I put out another video that I've designed to help you generate more sales, bring home more commissions, take home more money to your loved ones so you can spend more time doing the things you want to do and not the things you have to do. So why am I making this video? Well, normally I work in the luxury real estate market, and the agents there generally experienced, and they generally do a good job, and the properties are bigger, so it's not so important as what I've noticed in the last few weeks. One of my high-end clients said, "Hey Tony, can you list this property for my friend? It's just a small little condo." And I'm like, "Sure, I'll do that." You know, I always try and take really good care of my high-end clients, and it's not a big deal. You know, I'm not giving my time away. It's still a $500,000 condo. I'm still gonna make money on it, but it's not what I normally do. So it's this little condo. It's 800 square feet at the most, 2 bedrooms. And what I noticed was the first time I came in, so there's one lake view window from this condo, and then like a fireplace on the other side. So I stand over next to the fireplace, so when the people come out from looking at the bedrooms, they're gonna naturally go over to the other side and see the view. So I'm trying to steer them to the strength of the property. And it worked. They stood right there and like, "Wow, this is a nice view." The guy's like, I kind of like this view. This would work for me. And I didn't say anything. I waited because I knew I could see he was generating in mind how this is gonna work for him. So he looked at me, he asked a question about something. He's like, "Oh, is that a gas?" I'm like, "Yeah. It's a gas fireplace, just push the button, it comes on, it's great." And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "You know, have you lived in Tahoe before?" And he said, "No, but he had a car, he lived in Mammoth or something, but he had a snow car." And he started talking about cars. I'm like, "Oh, you like cars?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "How do you have?" And he's like, "I got 12. And so I got him comfortable and he started talking about his cars. And then I'm like, "What would you think would be the best car for Tahoe?" So he was into it. So now I'm getting to think about, he's gonna have a car in Tahoe, he's gonna have a gas fireplace he can just turn on, he's got a lake view. And then his agent comes walking in, because this is not my agent, this is my listing. His agent comes in, starts talking about his cars and what he does. And I'm just like, "God, buddy, you just took away all that energy that your client was spending on getting emotionally attached to this property." That other agent took it because he started talking about himself instead of, "Hey, Mark, that's a great car for Tahoe. Yeah, you would do great in that." That's what I would have said if he was my client. And then the guy was really getting into like property and like when he could buy it, what he'd have to do to sell some stuff, that he was doing a 1031 exchange and all this. And so I was like, "This is great." That was very good, even though the other agent came in, kind of messed things up a little bit. Really good showing. And then a week later, I had to show it to another couple and their agent. And there was another property end of the hall that they liked better because they wanted to bust the hallway out in this condo complex, and probably can't do that. 99% chance you can't do that, but I'm not gonna say that to him. I'm not gonna tell him what he can or can't do. He's gotta go to the board and find out. And again, I was standing over by the fireplace to push them over so they can look at the view, and they did say, "Wow, this is a really nice view," because the other property didn't have a view. The one that they wanted to buy because they could extend it. And I was like, "Yeah, it's a really nice view. The sellers really love that view." That was one of the reasons that they bought the place. And so I was trying to work the room again, and then the agent comes in. She's arguing with the guy that what he can and can't do with that other condo, and just sucked all the energy in the room and stood actually in between myself and the other people and just made the entire conversation about herself instead of trying to find out what her clients liked about the condo or didn't. Or I was just like, wow. And I knew they weren't going to buy it, so it didn't really matter. But I was just shocked at how unaware she was of what she was doing. Or maybe she was aware and she had some ulterior motive. I don't know. But was not conducive to selling this property. So it wasn't a big deal. But even as they're walking out the door, again, she was arguing with her clients. I was just shocked. I never argue with my clients, especially in front of somebody else. And we were in a conference room and they were going the wrong direction. Say, "Hey, you know, that may or may not be the best thing to do, and here's why." But I wouldn't argue with them. I would present a case and let them make decisions. But she was flat out arguing with them. It was so crazy. Anyway, they left, and you know, because I had all the lights on, I had the fireplace on. I always do that for my listings. Get there early, have everything set up, get the music going, spray a little aromatherapy in the air so it smells nice, whatever. And they'd already looked at another property, and so I kind of ran into the gentleman going down the stairs, and he's like, you know, she's kind of brash, huh? But we really like her, she's a friend. I'm like, "Oh, that's great," you know, because I never say anything bad about people or agents or anything like that in front of them or anything like that. You know, for learning purposes, I will talk about it. And I'm like, "That's great, as long as she's doing a good deal for you and you enjoy her work, whatever." And she's an experienced agent, so I knew she did good work, but I'm just shocked that she was so brash trash anyway. And so I'm like, great. I mean, that was his big takeaway from that showing, was that she argued with him. So that's how important it is not to argue with your clients, okay? The first key point is be aware of what you're doing. Be aware of the strengths and the weaknesses of the property you're showing. Promote the strengths, don't promote the weaknesses. One of the things I'll do is say, like, I'm out on a property and it's got a nice lake view from the deck. After we look at the property, I'll be like, hey, let's go out on the deck, check it out. And I'll kind of stand in position so that they're there looking at the view and I'm here so they can kind of talk to me and look at me peripherally, but look at the view. I don't want them looking at me and looking at the view peripherally. That's a strength point. When I show property, I don't walk through the house with them and tour them and tell them everything about the house. Most of the people don't want to hear that. If you meet somebody, they want to hear every detail, you ask them, then you do, but most people don't. Most people can look at a house and tell if they like it or not. They don't need you narrating every little thing they're doing. So be cautious of that, okay? There's some people that are very detail oriented. They want to know, but you should be able to recognize that person. I'll make another video on the 4 different personality types to help you with that. Point out important things that may or not, like I just one house, like there's a dumbwaiter back there, just so you know. Goes downstairs to the game room and upstairs to the office. And sometimes I'll tell a story because facts tell, stories sell. The people that lived here loved it because they could send down a big bowl of popcorn or a big bowl of guacamole with some beers downstairs, or sometimes a wife would surprise her husband, send up a martini and a sandwich when he was working. He loved it. And so it was really cute. Put a little story in there to get them connected to the house a little bit. If I'm working with somebody who's kind of an entertainer on the Navigate 2.0 system where the 4 different personality types, or they're high I and the DISC system where they're thinkers and storytellers, I'd be like, hey, where would, because we're getting close to Christmas now, where would you put your Christmas tree in this room? And then they start thinking, right? They start visualizing where I'll put my Christmas tree here. I'll put that reindeer thing I'll have with Santa Claus right over there. It'll look great in that corner. Oh, up on the mantle of the fireplace, I've got that great thing my mother-in-law, your mother gave us. We could put that up there. That looks so great. Now they're emotionally attached to the property. You've got them emotionally attached, doing so much better, okay? But don't start yakking. This is a bedroom. This is the second bedroom. This is a laundry room. Like, yeah, people know it's a laundry room and there's a laundry, washer and dryer there. If the house is vacant, yes, maybe you could tell them, but give people a chance to figure it out. Talk to them afterwards, like, you saw the laundry room, right? If they didn't. So be cautious, be aware of what you're doing. Don't be overpowering. Don't make it about yourself. Make it about the property and getting your clients happy in a property, not about you and you and you and you. Don't do that, okay? Be cautious. Be aware of what your clients want. If you have to ask them, you can, because people will be happy to tell you. So be aware of what you're doing, the strengths and weaknesses of the property. Promote the strengths. Guide people away from the weaknesses. Don't hide them, but don't stand in front of them and make a big fanfare of the weakness of the property. Okay, so that's tip number 1. Be aware of what you're doing, the property and all that. Tip number 2, and a couple of my agents I'm working with, Marie and Mark, we're at EXPCon. I was at EXPCon too, and I missed this class, unfortunately. It sounded really great. Gene Frederick, who's awesome, super successful realtor. He told them this. He's like, when he goes to show a house, one of the things he does is when he walks up. So what I like to do when I walk up is before we get in the house, I'll tell them, as we're kind of standing on the curb, I want them to kind of get a visual, like, this house is 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, it's 4,200 square feet, it's on 0.43 of an acre, and it's listed for $2,350,000. And so now they have an idea. I'm like, the taxes are $6,187. And boom, got the facts out there. And then I don't mention it again. Let's let them figure it out. Like I said, if I'm working with a detailed person, I might give them more details, like the price per square foot, the average price per square foot in this neighborhood, whatever. But that's just for detail-oriented people. If they're not number people, I don't do that. Then we walk up to the house, and what I would do in the past is I'd be working on the lockbox, trying to get the key out, and I've got my back to the people because I'm trying to do this. It always made me uncomfortable, so I just learned this. I'm super excited. I'm super thankful for Marie and Mark for sharing this, that Gene Frederick taught them at EXPCon. Gene would say, hey, this may be your house. Why don't you go ahead and walk around the outside and look at the neighborhood and give me a chance to get this door open, turn some lights on for you, and then you'll have a better presentation. And everybody would say yes. So then, they would go out, Gene would walk up there, get the house open, turn on some of the lights, and then have the door open a little bit so when they would walk in, he could see the looks on their faces if they like the house or not. Because some people aren't going to like the house, but they won't tell you because they don't want to offend you, or they feel they're obligated to walk through the house. And like, he could tell they didn't like the house. He's like, it doesn't look like you're impressed with this house. And they'd be like, not really. He's like, okay, then we don't even need to waste our time. Let's go on the next one. And people are usually happy about that. Some people like to just look at houses if they do, but if you want to go ahead and tour it, go ahead. that. Give them a chance to say no, they don't need to see it, and your day is gonna go faster and you get through your day and find them that right property they like. So again, that's tip number 2. I really love it. Have them go looking around the property or the neighborhood while you get the house open and maybe get some lights on. It's gonna be so much more professional for them to come in with the house all open with some lights on, instead of you fumbling, holding the door open, you've got the lockbox in one hand, maybe a flyer in the other hand, and it's always awkward. I never knew what to do in that, and I'm super excited now that Mark and Marie shared that with me. Thank you. So that's tip number 2. I really like that. That's new for me. Tip number 3. Oh, I get to use props on this one. Tip number 3. I learned this probably about 8 years ago, and it's made a huge difference in my sales. So when I meet somebody for the first time, I'm gonna do one thing. I'm gonna give them a gift. Is that shiny? Woo! So I will present them a gift when they drive up. You know, everybody drives their own car now, it seems like. So when they drive up, I meet them at the car, I introduce myself, and I have this gift for you. I don't want to do it when they get in the house, because then they have to walk around the house carrying your gift, and that's going to make them uncomfortable. Like, why am I carrying this stupid present around? But if you give it to them in their car, they're gonna be much happier. Go, you put this in your car so you don't have to carry it around the house. And then usually they'll open it between that showing and the second showing, and they're super excited. So what I give people, and I put it in a nice bag, you know, I go to the dollar store, I get these bags, like 2 for $1. And then I have these nice mugs, warm or cool mugs, whatever you call them. It's got my name, the logo, my license number. In the state of Nevada, we have to put your license number down, so I put that in there, and then my phone number so they can contact me, right? And it's just a little gift. It's not a big deal. They cost me less than $10 a piece. People love it. You give somebody gifts that look very professional, and you put yourself a notch above almost every other realtor in town. So that's how we start out. After they have that, they put it in the car. Now this is something I want them to carry around the house. I make them a little folder. So you need to get a 3-hole punch. It's like $10 at the store. 3-hole punch, so you can punch holes in this binder, and then you put the material in there. So what I like to put in here, I like to put, you know, I'll put like the detail sheet for the property. And then on top of that, I'll put the one with just a big picture of the property on there. It just has the basic, the price, the square footage, the bedrooms or whatever. And then I have a pen. I have my own pen. These are Tahoe Tony pens. I put that right here. So I'll put the property over here. If they're really interested, like we've been emailing about it, like we're really serious about that, I might put some comp sheets for the neighborhood in here, or comp sales for this property, because you know they're gonna ask you, like, what are these going for in this neighborhood? Is this a good price or not? And if you go, oh, here's the comps right here, you can show them, they're gonna be very excited. I give them the pen so they could take notes. So when they're driving or afterwards, or they're walking through the house, they could take notes. Some people do like that, some people don't. Again, talking about the personality types, like if there's a high D coming at you and then the spouse is a high I or an S or C, the high D, like, oh yeah, great, and then go, yeah, great, and just give it to the other person. It's so hilarious, but it's a really good tip to figure out the personality. Like again, I'll make another video on that. So I'll put that in here on the sheets. That's why you need 3-hole punch. I'll put one of my own pens in here, maybe something else, maybe something about our town if they're out of town, like things to do in Incline Village, that's where I work. Or I might put like a 1 sheet, like what I can do for you as a realtor. Don't say, this is about me. Remember, it's about what you can do for them. So I'll put a sheet in there, what I can do for you as a realtor. I can show you any property in town. I can negotiate for you. I'll handle the escrow. I'll help facilitate working with the lender. If you don't have a lender, I've got a great lender, a couple great lenders that'll work with you. You know, you put that all on sheets, so when they're driving home or whatever they're looking at, they're even that more impressed with you. So put the properties that you're putting in here, put the comps in here, and then put a little bit something about yourself, a little something about your town. If you don't have much to say about yourself, you could do that. You could say something about your brokerage too. It all works. Make a flyer in there about them. Say property tour with a date of your town. I work in Tahoe, so I get a nice beautiful view of Lake Tahoe and I put it on there. And then if I could find pictures of my clients, I'll put them down here as well. And then my name, logo, and contact information. And again, the date, the tour, like their name, a property tour for Eric and Vivian, September 2nd, 2022. Or if they just looking at one property, I'll put a picture of that property out here so that I know I've personalized this for them. So they know I care. They know I've gone the extra step to do something special for them, and they're gonna feel special about it. So this little tip, this binder costs maybe $2. I get the good ones. The cheap ones, they look cheap, you know, the ones for 99 cents. These are like $2 or $3. During the back to school year, I'll buy like 30 of them and just store them in a box so I have them ready to go. These make a huge difference on your first showing. If it's second showing, if you want to bring that another one, that's great. It's up to you, whatever you think would be best. I always bring another gift. I've got little pocket knife wine openers that I'll give to people, like on the second one. I've got little pen lights that are great, especially older people. When you go to restaurants, you could turn that on and read the menu. It helps. Just a little something to let them know I'm thinking about them and then I'm standing out as a realtor. So Those are 3 great tips to help you be a better showing agent, to help you crush it. Remember, when you're showing the property, be aware what your clients want. Do they want you to talk, tell you every detail or not, or just shut up and let them figure it out? Like I said, I work with a lot of luxury people and they know property. They don't need to be blabbing away, just interrupting them. Don't ever argue with your client. Don't ever stand in the middle of the room so it's making it all about you. Just be aware, promote the strengths, kind of steer away from the weaknesses if you can. Second tip, when you're showing a house, when you go to open the door, ask your client to step back, look at the neighborhood and give you a minute to open the door, turn the lights on and make a good first impression. And then the third one is bring a little gift. You know, you don't have to do this. You could do something different. There's many different things you could do. I can't think of anything right now, but I have a list of things I could do. If you want a list, just shoot me something in the comments. Say, Tony, can you send me a list of good little gift ideas that are not too expensive? Because you don't want to go broke doing this, right? You're trying to make money with this. And then the binder's really great. Make sure you personalize it. I've even done something in the center here as well. Not as important as the front. You've got a back as well. I'll do a really nice sunset of Lake Tahoe. I'll put that on the back and the front. I make it about them. You're not making it about you, making it about your clients and what you could do for them. So you put their pictures on there if you can, of the property, whatever. And then if you practice those 3 tips, you're gonna have a much better chance of impressing your clients. And what happens when you impress your clients? You get more sales, generate more commissions, bring home more money to your loved ones, and then spending more time doing the things you want to do instead of things you have to do. So if you've enjoyed my video, go ahead, subscribe below, leave me some comments, let me know what you like or don't like, or let me know what you want to hear next, because I'm all about your success.